And we are live. Welcome back with Murphy Mac to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you get started on your fitness journey. What is up, everybody? Hope y'all having a great day. Hope y'all are being safe. If you're listening in the car, put your seatbelt on. 10 and 2. You already know the deal. No, I'm just kidding with y'all. But yeah, we got another podcast topic for y'all today. And I like this podcast topic because it's such a simple thing to do that can go so far and be so beneficial to you. That it seems too good to be true, but it's legit. And what we're gonna talk about is the power of compounding. I'm calling it compounding consistency. That's what I'm calling it. But it's just like think of it as like compounding interest. So you always hear that term a lot, compounding interest. When you're saving, when you're investing money, you always think about compounding interest. But when it comes to fitness, when it comes to your health, I like to use that same kind of terminology, but I like to use compounding consistency. So that's what we're going to talk about, consistency. I know this seems to be something that we talk about a lot on the podcast because it is it's that big of a deal. Like, it's that important. And honestly, I give all my like success, and not success, but like all of my, I give credit to consistency for all the wins that I've seen in my fitness journey. Like for being able to run super far, being able to work out, things like that. It's all about consistency. It's really all it is. I really don't do anything like crazy or special, and I'm not any different than anybody else. I'm just consistent. That's the only difference between me and somebody else that is not necessarily in their best health, that their health is maybe not a priority to them. But it's really the only difference between us. And it's such a simple thing that anybody can do it. Like, it's not that hard. You just gotta make it a priority and be consistent with it. Like, it really is. And the reason I want to talk about this podcast today is it was actually this past week when I was running on the treadmill. I got to thinking about this, and it's because if you follow me on social media, you probably saw a story that I put up from 3 years ago. Shameless plug. If you don't follow me, it's Murphy Mac Fit on pretty much all social media. So y'all go ahead and give me a follow. I'm on all of them: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat. Yeah. But yeah, I post a lot of my stories and stuff over there. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a follow. But yeah, this week when I was running, I had a memory pop up. So Snapchat does memories from that day. They'll do memories from that day, but like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, however far back you got memories. So I had one pop up from 3 years ago. And it was actually when I was working out at Crunch still. And it was me. I was just doing like a lat pull down, not a lat pull down. I was doing a lat, like the lat push down where your arms are straight and you're on the cable machine. I was doing that, and it was a video from the back, and my back to me just looked absolutely shredded. Like, it looked good, and it made me think like, it made me realize like, dang, I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing this consistently for a while. Like, this was literally 3 years ago. My back looked that good 3 years ago. Like, literally, it looked as good as it does today, if not better. Then I was definitely more lean then in that video when I took it than I am right now. But I was like, it really hit me. I was like, dang, I've been doing this for a while. Like, really, I've been doing this for a long time. And I give all the credit to just consistency. Like, that's all. I just show up every week. Like, I show up. I do it. There's nothing. I don't do anything like out of this world. I've just been consistent. Literally, I've been working out over 11 years, probably going on 12 years. Like, I think August would be 12 years because I remember I started working out my freshman year of high school when we started working out for football. So I started training for football, and I know school always starts in August, so that's how I know when I started. And I've never stopped. Like, I've never quit working out ever since then. I've literally worked out consistently since that day. Like, I've never just taken a break or anything. I mean, I think the longest time I've taken off from working out is 9 days, and that's when I've been on vacation. Like, literally on my honeymoon, I didn't work out. When I went to like Canada and stuff, when I go on vacation, I don't typically work out, but I'm also probably doing something very active on vacation. So like, me and my wife, we like to go hiking. So like, we may not be lifting weights, but we're hiking every day, like getting 50,000 steps in a day, like hiking miles and miles. So I mean, that's kind of a workout in itself. But yeah, I just don't ever, I hadn't missed, and all those years I hadn't missed, and that's why I look the way I do. And I'm not like trying to say I look better than anybody, but for the majority of the people, yes, I do. And I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but that's just the truth. I've been able to build muscle and build a physique that I like, that I look forward to, that I like train towards, and it's all just from from being consistent. I just do it day in and day out, literally week after week after month after year. I've been doing it for that long. And when I saw this story pop up, this memory, it kind of made me like, it gave me like what's the word for it? It was like a sentimental thing for me. I was like, dang, I really been doing this for a while. Like, I've been out here doing it, and I'm still being consistent with it. Like, I was literally in the gym that day 3 years ago, and I was watching that video while I was in the gym. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been on my phone, but I was on the treadmill, so it was okay. And I was just looking through. I was like, dang, I was doing this 3 years ago today, and I'm still doing it today. So that was just, it was a big like wake up moment for me. It's like, hey, like, you're just being consistent. That's all you're doing. Like, it's really not that hard. And it got me, honestly, one, I felt like gratitude, but then I got like mad. I was like, dang, like if other people would realize this, it would be so much easier for them. Like if they would just do it consistently. Like you don't have to go in the gym and absolutely destroy your body every single day in the gym. That's not what you have to do. You just have to be consistent with it over time. But another thing I wanted to point out that kind of ticked me off is people, especially when it comes to fitness, when somebody else has something that they don't have, or when somebody else their body looks better than them, or they have more success in the gym than they do, the first thing they do, they jump to conclusions and they just automatically say, "Oh yeah, that person's on steroids. That person's doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. Like they're taking a cheat code, they're doing a shortcut, they're doing something." And they just, especially in fitness industry, the first thing, if somebody has a better body than you, the first thing you think, he's on steroids. Now, I know this ain't everybody that thinks this, but a lot of people, majority of people. And the reason they think this, I don't think it's they want to think down on that person or they want to think anything bad of that person. I think they're just in their head making up excuses as to why they don't look like that. They're thinking like, well, if I can't look like him, then he must be on steroids. He's doing something that I don't have. He's doing something that that's not fair. But odds are 90% of the time, no, like he probably just been in the gym working his butt off for years. He's been in there years grinding, and that's why he looks the way he does. I mean, yeah, there are people that take steroids, obviously, but most people do not. Majority of people do not take steroids. I mean, only a select few individuals that work out take steroids, and if they do, it's probably very obvious that they do. But there's a lot of people out there that don't take them. And just because they have a little muscle, just because they look very athletic, they have a good physique, other people would just like to dog him out and say, "Oh yeah, he's just on steroids. That's why he has muscle. He has muscles because he's on steroids." And that's the thing they jump to. They jump to this conclusion, and it kind of makes me mad because it's they're making excuses for themselves. They're making excuses as to why they don't look like that or why they can't get in shape, why they can't be more healthy, because they're telling themselves, "Oh, he's only like that because he's taking this cheat code. He's taking this shortcut." Or he's only like that because he's on steroids. Like, no, that's not the case. Most people in the gym are not on steroids. Yes, there are some people. There are some people, but you can most of the time tell who those people are. People that work out in the gym are just normal everyday people that work out in the gym that's been in there for doing it years and years and years and years, and that's the way they look. That's why they look the way they look. Like, I don't think y'all understand. Most people don't understand how long it takes to build muscle. Like, it takes a very long time. And the more you do it, like the more you work out, the longer you do it, the less muscle you build. Because your body does have like a maximum point to where you just can't keep building muscle. Yeah, there are ways to like manipulate that, different training styles, different diets, things like that. But it's 90% of the time, it's just people that's been in there compounding consistency. They're compounding interest into their body, and it's just their body is a result of that. It's not a result of cheating their way in and taking steroids or whatever. So, I don't know. I kind of got to thinking about that. I was like, it really ticks me off when people just straight jump to that conclusion. And honestly, like for people that are not on steroids and people jump to that conclusion, it's actually like a compliment. So if somebody claims that I'm on steroids, it's a very big compliment to me because that says something that, hey, I did something without having to use those. So it's kind of like kind of boost your ego a little bit, but then again, it's kind of annoying. Like you don't want people claiming you're on steroids because then everybody thinks, oh, well, he just cheated his way there. Well, that's not the case. I'm admitting right here, I've never taken a steroid ever in my life, ever. And I'm not trying to like bash steroids. I think they can be used correctly in the right sense. Some people actually need them for their health, but I'm mainly talking about people that are abusing them. Like I don't. If your doctor prescribes them to you, I think for your health, that's the one thing. But when you're abusing them to gain muscle specifically to look better, that's a different case. But yeah, another thing is that people also use the excuse of genetics. This is a big one. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like genetics do not play a role in your physique. They 100% play a role, without a shadow of a doubt. Your genetics will play a role in what your physique will look like. But people, again, they jump to this conclusion that, oh, that person just has better genetics to me. They jump to the conclusion of, oh, my genetics will not allow me to look like that. My genetics will not allow me to lose weight. My genetics will not allow me to build muscle. He just has top tier genetics. That's the only way he can look like that, is because he was just born that way. Like he was blessed. He hit the genetic lottery, and that's why he looks like that. Well, I'm here to say that's not the case. For some people, yes, some people did hit the genetic lottery, and they just have really good genetics, and they just got lucky. Like that's one thing. But majority of people do not just have top tier genetics. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, a lot of people will claim I have really really good genetics. Well, to me personally, I would not say I do. Just because, like, I don't know, like I'm not very tall. I'm not the fastest person. I'm not the biggest person. You know what I'm saying? I don't look like some of your bodybuilders. I don't look like some of your athletes. I do have a good physique in my opinion, but I would not say I have like top tier, 100% like genetics. I've just built this consistency over time. I was a very, very skinny kid, very skinny, like no bone. I mean, no muscle, no fat, just skinny as a kid. It took me years and years and years to put on weight. I'm finally able. I'm 25 years old now, and I'm finally able to put on weight. And I eat a lot of food in order to do that. Like, I still just don't add a lot of weight. And that's part of your genetics too. Like, my body doesn't want to hold on to a lot of weight like some people's body do. And some people do. They have a higher body fat percentage, like, level where their body wants to stay at, and that does play a role. It does. I'm not gonna like shy away from that. But I don't care who you are, you can lose weight, and I don't care who you are, you can gain weight. It's all a matter of like science. Like, think of it, calories in versus calories out. Like, you can do it. It just takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of consistency, and it's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take some. It's going to have to be a priority. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just use you can't use genetics as a cop out. It's not a cop out. It can be done. You can build muscle. I don't care what your genetics are, and you can lose weight. Now, you may not lose weight as fast as somebody else. You may not build muscle as fast as somebody else. And that is a proponent of genetics, but it can be done. So I don't want people to just jump straight to this excuse as well. So quit using the genetics excuse, and quit using the steroid excuse if you're doing this, because it's not valid. It's not a valid excuse. You can do these things, and not everybody you see that has muscle is on steroids. They're not. Most people are not actually on steroids, in my opinion. Yes, there are a lot of people out there that are on steroids, and most of the time, nowadays, they admit it. Most people will admit that they're on steroids nowadays. Apparently, it's like a cool thing nowadays. Like, it's not hidden. Used to, back in the day, you would lie about it, like you would hide it. Now, if you ask somebody, they'll probably just straight up tell you. Like, if you ask them, hey, what's your stat? What's your cycle? They'll probably just straight up tell you. Most people will. Like, it's not considered as bad as it was back in the day, and especially on social media. Like, they glorify that junk on social media. So you pretty much know the people that are on steroids. But I don't know. I don't like it when people like to straight jump to the conclusion and claim that other people are taking steroids when they're not. Like, because that person that they're claiming has been grinding in the gym, working their butt off, working their tail off for years, year after year after year after year, doing this, and they finally built a physique that's worth talking about. And now other people just like to, I can't think, what's the word? They like to not downgrade it. They like to overlook. That's not the word I'm thinking of, but they like to overlook the work that person has put in, the amount of hours they spend in the gym, the amount of meals they've eaten that's been good for them, the amount of junk food they've had to turn away from to look that way. Like, they overshadow that and just straight jump to conclusions and say, oh, they're on steroids, that's why they look like that. And that gets under my skin a little bit. I don't like it. I never really had somebody like straight up to my face claim that I'm on steroids, but I have heard of other people saying that about me, and it don't really bother me. But I mean, it don't like make me think differently of you or anything. I know it's just a quick way to justify why you don't look the way I look, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying all this to like brag about my physique, because trust me, I'll be the first to say I don't have the best physique in the world, but I definitely don't have the worst physique in the world. And I know a lot of people would like the physique I have, but just know the reason I have the physique I have is because I have been grinding. I do a lot of things that you probably don't do. I wake up and run at 5 a.m. every morning. I go to the gym 5 a.m. every morning. Like, I've been doing this for years after year after year. Like, I put in the work. That's why I look the way I look. It's not, I didn't just start working out last week or last year. I've been doing it since I was, 14 years old? I've been doing this a long time. And that's why I look the way I look. So it was just, and it's come from consistency. I've just done it day in and day out. I hadn't done anything special. I literally just do the basics. I work out, I eat halfway decent, I do a little bit of cardio, and I just do that over years. And that's why I'm able to look the way I look. Like, it's pretty simple when you dial it down to those few things. I'm not no genetic god. I'm not on steroids. Like, I don't do those things. That's just people trying to make excuses as for why they don't look the way that I look or somebody else that they inspire to be like looks. And this same thing goes for, like, think of like of it in a business term. So fitness aside, same thing when it goes to business. When somebody starts making it in their business, they start their own business. Yeah, and at first you're kind of supportive. You're like, yeah, you do that thing. You go for it. You chase your dream. You go all in. I like it. I support you. But as soon as that person starts becoming successful, way more successful than you are, when their business starts taking off, first thing you want to do is, oh, he's got to be doing something sleazy. He's doing something illegal. He's doing something he shouldn't be doing. He's lying on his taxes. He's selling drugs out the back of the store. He's doing something. Like, you immediately think, oh, he's doing something wrong. And then you start downplaying that person again. And it's the same thing. You like to jump to the excuse. You like to jump to conclusions because you don't have what they have. You don't have the business they have. You're not making the money that they're making. And it's because you ain't put the work in that they put in. They've been in the trenches. They've been grinding, probably doing it day in and day out, probably eating ramen noodles on the weekend because they can't afford real food. And because they were pouring all their money into their business, and now look, it's successful. They doing their thing, and now people want to talk bad about them, saying that, oh, he must be doing something illegal or he must be doing something wrong. It's the same thing. It's the same scenario as the fitness thing, and that just irks my mind. Like, that makes me so mad. I hate when people do that. Like, you can always tell. It's funny, especially in business or like especially in social media. People are supporting you. Like, when you first start, they support you. Like, yeah, you go do it. You got it. Chase your dreams. Do your thing. But as soon as you start hitting some success, as soon as you start making some money, those people turn on you real quick. They're like, man, he ain't even that good. His videos ain't even that good. Or his product that he makes, it ain't even that good. You know what I'm saying? And they start to be negative about you because you made it. You were successful. Same thing in fitness. As soon as you start losing weight and you start looking good, people are going to be hating on you. That's just how it is. I don't know why it's like that, but hopefully we can start changing that today. Because you can't be mad. I love this quote. I don't know where it came from or who said it, but I like this very lot. You can't be mad about the results that you didn't get from the work that you didn't put in. So hopefully that made sense. Like, you can't be mad about not getting a certain result when you didn't do the work. Like, if you didn't put the work in, you didn't do it, you obviously cannot get that result. But you can't get mad about that. Like, you can't be mad about not being able to run a marathon when you've never trained to run a marathon. Like, that don't make sense. So that's why I like that quote. Like, and that goes to anything in life. If you're trying to get a promotion at work and you're not doing the things you need to be doing to get a promotion, then you can't be mad about not getting that promotion. Like, you can't. You need to be doing the work. You need to be grinding it out. And now I'm completely off on a tangent of what my podcast is supposed to be about. Sorry about my little rant there. But this podcast is about being consistent. So we're going to talk a little bit about building consistency, the power of consistency. So think of it like compound interest, like I was talking about. It's like money. It's like you put it in a savings account. You probably have a savings account and you put money in there every month, or you should be at least. Put some money in there every month. And over time, if you have like an interest rate on this account, over time, as you put more and more money in that savings account will start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it will start compounding. So say you put $1 in there every month. Well, in 1 year, you'll have $12 at the end of the year. The next year, since there's compounding interest, instead of having $24 at the end of the year, you may have $26 at the end of the second year because it compounded a little bit. There's interest rate there. Same thing with your fitness. Like, you can stack these days on top of each other, and then down the road when you need to take a week off, you're good because you got that extra. You got the extra savings in there. You put in the work for 2 years straight, it's okay if you take a week off. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool. So it's not about crushing every single workout. It's not about eating perfect every single day. Because let's be honest, who does that? Who actually works out every single day? Who actually eats right every single day? There's probably 0.0000001% of people on this planet that do that. There's probably you can probably count on two hands of people in the world that do that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not many people that do that. It's simply about showing up when it's hard, showing up on the days you don't want to, the days you don't feel like it. You go in there and you get it done. You eat the healthy food. You put down the snack that you don't need to be snacking on. You go and you train your body, train your mind, things like that. So that's what it's about. So yeah, I lost my spot there for a second. Yeah, these small investments, these small efforts that you do over time, they create massive return on like your investment, if that makes sense. So it's kind of same thing with the money scenario there. But so here's the kicker. This is where it's important. Once you've built that foundation, like of training consistently, being disciplined, eating right, you don't have to be perfect anymore. You don't have to be perfect. And I'm a proponent of that. I don't eat right. Now one thing I don't normally mess up is my training. I normally am kind of perfect on my training, but not this weekend. So I'm prime example of this right here. This weekend on Saturday, I misread my training program. I thought I was off of training Saturday. I thought I didn't have to run. I thought I was off. I got it mixed up. Actually, this coming up Saturday is the day I'm actually off. So Saturday, I woke up, I didn't run. I went and I played in the disc golf tournament, didn't run. Played in that, had a good day, had a good time, had fun. I got home that night, I looked at my training app, realized I was supposed to run that day. Well, what did I do? I didn't do nothing. I woke up the next day, Sunday, and I did my normal training program that I was supposed to run on Sunday. I kept working, and that's okay. Like, did this. I'm not just gonna let it beat me up. Like, but it's okay. I've been training day in and day out. It's okay if I miss one day. Like that one day is not going to affect my training. It's not going to affect how fit I am or if I'm in shape. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to affect the result of my ultra marathon that I have coming up just because I missed a 4 mile run. Like it's not going to affect it. And that's because I've built up that foundation. I've built up the kind of banked some of that interest a little bit, and that's okay. Like it's not going to derail my progress. So you can. That's the good thing about building up this consistency over time is that when I do mess up, when I do slip, if I do forget about a workout, if I do go and eat a whole slice of pizza or even a whole pizza, it's okay. It's not gonna derail my results. It's not gonna be the end all be all. So when you build that consistency, when you build that over time, it kind of creates a buffer. It creates like a little buffer, a little play in there, a little room for a mess up when you have to have one. So it's like having a fitness safety net. It's like having a little safety net. And that's the good thing about being consistent day in and day out, year after year. So yeah, just a little bit about my personal journey. I told y'all I started working out when I was a freshman in high school. And I pretty much never missed. I just built a level of consistency because training is something I actually like to do. I actually like to enjoy it. It's something that puts my mind in the right place. When I work out, I feel better when I leave the gym, when I get done. You release those endorphins when you're working out. So I feel good about myself and I like it. It's something that I enjoy. It's like a hobby of mine. Think of whatever you like to do on the weekend. That's same for me, but with training. Like that's what I like to do. So my body and my mind are used to moving, used to eating well. So a little slip here and there, it doesn't make a dent. It doesn't really affect me. It's like I've earned the right to be lazy sometimes. But only on occasion. Like I'm not gonna use that excuse every day. You know what I'm saying? I only on occasions like Saturday when I miss the workout. And guess what? You can do this too. Like I'm not the only one that can do this. You can do it too. You can get there. You just got to start banking some time. You got to start putting in the consistency, and you got to start working. You don't have to be perfect right now. Nobody's gonna be perfect. Like I said, even when you're building up to this level, you're still not gonna be perfect, and that's okay. It's just about being consistent over the long time. So say I missed a workout. Say I missed one workout and then I lost. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. Like the more you work out, the more days you can miss, pretty much. And just because you have more time in there, you have more consistency. And like one day over a week span is going to unpack. Like if you missed one training day over a 7-day span, that's going to be a whole lot more impactful rather over you missing one day over a 365 day span. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the more time you put in, the more time you can stretch that out, the less one missed workout would do to you. So if that makes sense, I think that makes sense. So yeah, like one if you only had 7 days to train and you missed one of those days, that one day would be a lot more impactful than if you had 365 days to train and you missed one day, because it's all a percentage. It's percentage based. So that makes sense. So yeah, you just gotta start small, show up, treat every effort that you make, because it's gonna compound in your favor in the future. So how can you do this? How can you build some consistency? I got a few tips for y'all here that have worked for me. Number one is just start small. So don't try to do everything all at once, especially if you ain't doing nothing right now. Don't try to go crazy with it. Just pick one habit, one thing that you want to work on, and it may be working out, maybe eating healthier, maybe getting better sleep, maybe stretching, it may be something for at work, it may be something in your relationship. Pick that one thing and focus on that. Get consistent with that to where it's second nature, where you don't even have to think about it, you just do it. And then when it becomes second nature, then you can add something else in. This is the best way to do it, because when you try to add too many things at once, it can get too overwhelming. It can be hard to stick to, and you haven't built those habits yet. You haven't built that up yet, so it's hard to keep adding things when you don't already have a habit of doing the first things you should be doing. So do one thing at a time. Start small. If you're not working out at all, literally just start with going on walks every day, or start with going to the gym twice a week, whatever. Start with that and just start there. Don't try to add too many things. Like, if you want to get in the gym, don't try to like add the gym and add eating super healthy at the same time. Like, stagger it. Either, I would honestly say, start with your diet first. Start with eating healthier first, then go to the gym. That's what I would do. Number two, stack your habits. Oh, I just kind of talked about this. But pair a new habit. So something that you already like. So the new habit that you want to do with a habit that you already do. So, for example, this is just an easy example. Think about every time you brush your teeth in the morning, you got to do 10 air squats, 10 push-ups, or something like that. Like something that you already do, pair it with some kind of exercise or whatever you're trying to do, if that makes sense. So, I don't know. Every time you go to check the mail at the road, I don't know, just walk down to the end. Instead of going to your mailbox and back in, maybe walk down to the end of your street and back in while you check the mail. Something like that, like something simple. Pair those two actions together. That way you can start linking them together, and then you'll start to be able to stick to them easier, because you're already going to do that other habit. Like, you're already going to do that one thing because it's second nature. It's a habit. You've built it in. So when you pair those two things together, then it makes doing that other one easier, because you'll think about it. You'll know you're supposed to be doing it, and it helps. Number three, track your progress. So the best way to do this nowadays, 2025, use an app. They got an app for everything. There's a million different fitness apps. Just look them up and use one. I don't have one I prefer. There's a ton of them out there. So you just find one that you like. But yeah, this is a good way to track your consistency. One, track your workouts, your progress, things like that. Seeing it, and the main thing the main reason I say track your progress is because tracking your progress and seeing that progress over time is very, very motivating. Like when you see, I improved my bench press by 10 pounds this week or this month, or I lost 20 pounds in the past 30 days. Like, that's motivating. That will get you going, or at least it does for me. I don't know about you, but it should keep you going, should keep you motivated, because when you actually see those results, it's going to push you to want to do more, to get more of those results. So yeah, I would say track your progress. Number four, be kind to yourself. This is something that I'm not the best at, because I'll beat myself up if I miss a day. And I've actually gotten a lot better at this. Like I mentioned, Saturday, it didn't even bother me that I missed a workout. Yeah, I was upset. I was like, dang, I missed my workout. Like, I wish I should have got up and looked at my app instead of just assuming that I was off. But just be kind to yourself. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. You're not going to be perfect. Point blank, period. You're not. You're going to miss a day. You're going to miss a workout. You're going to miss a meal. You're going to eat some junk food. That's okay. If you miss a day, if you mess up, don't beat yourself up. The only thing you have to do, and as you need to do, is get right back on track the next day. Point blank, period. If you fall off one day, as long as you start back the next day, you're okay. You're going to be good. Because guess what? You're going to get right back on your plan. And as you build up that compound interest over time, that one day that you miss, it's not even going to have an effect. Like if you miss one day, it's not going to have effect if you're starting right back the next day. Like, it's probably not. It only has an effect when you let that go on to another day, or you miss another day, and then that one day turns into a week, and then that week turns into a month. You know what I'm saying? Then you just quit. You're not going no more. The number 5, think long term. So remember, fitness, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're not going to get quick results. If somebody's promising you quick results, that's a red flag. Stay away from that. It's not going to happen. If there's any supplement out there that says it's going to give you quick results, that's false. It's not going to give you quick results. It takes time, it takes compounding, consistency, it takes work. Like, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Quit falling for all these get quick rich schemes or lose 20 pounds fast schemes. Like, it takes time. Can you lose 20 pounds? Yes. But eventually you're going to hit a plateau. You're not going to keep losing those 20 pounds every month just from doing whatever the guru online says. The goal is to build habits that last a lifetime. It's not to see instant results, period. Like, I would rather you lose 5 pounds a month over 12 months than just lose like 30 pounds in 1 month, because you're being consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're consistently losing that weight, and you're putting the work in after month out, rather than just going balls to the wall for 1 month and trying to lose as much weight as possible. Because that's probably not, that's whatever you did to lose 30 pounds in 1 month, it's probably not going to be consistent over a year's time. Like, you're probably not going to keep doing that, because in order to lose 30 pounds, you're probably busting your butt. Like, you're grinding, you're eating super healthy, doing cardio twice a day, probably. Like, you're working hard in order to do that. And that's just not consistent. Like, you're not going to do that forever. So that's not the goal. The goal is to build sustainable habits that will last a lifetime. So yeah, with consistency in your fitness comes freedom. What does that mean? It just means when you build a strong foundation, you don't have to stress out about every little decision. You can enjoy life without having to worry about one day ruining everything, all your results, all your progress. You don't have to worry about it. And this is my favorite thing about consistency, because as much as I like to work out and work on my physique, I like junk food. I'll be honest, I do. I love ice cream. Ice cream is like my biggest weakness. I can thank my grandma for that. She used to buy me mint chocolate chip ice cream I had it like every day growing up as a child. So I love ice cream. I do. And I don't feel bad about it when I eat it, because I know that even if I go have a bowl of ice cream right after this podcast, I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to go work out. Point blank, period. I'm not going to let that one meal ruin my results or my progress. You know what I'm saying? So it creates that sense of freedom. You'd be like, oh, I can take off this week and go on vacation and not have to like worry about losing all the muscle I've built, losing all my results or gaining a bunch of weight back because I can't work out. Or I can go out for work, my work dinner, and have a good time and eat whatever they have at the dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do that because it creates a little freedom. But it takes time to get there. You got to build up to that. You know what I'm saying? You can't just week one of your training, you can't just like, all right, going out to eat, we're going to have a good time, we're going to have whatever we want, have dessert. As long as I start tomorrow, I'm good. Like, no, when you're first starting out, that's not realistic. But when you've been doing it for years, that is realistic. So it's all about putting in that compounding interest, the compounding consistency. So yeah, that's my gist on power of consistency. So I challenge y'all, start with one habit, get consistent with that, add another habit, get consistent with that, and keep doing that. And I promise you, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, your life will drastically change. It will, because you started building these habits. And this is not just fitness habits. This could be relationship habits, work habits, with your kids, whatever it is. Start it one way, and that's how you can build and start stacking those habits. So yeah, that's my little spiel on being consistent. I'll probably talk about it again one day in another podcast, because I think it's that important. But yeah. Also, one more time, I want to say, stop jumping to conclusions and stop making excuses for why you don't have the results that other people have. And everybody's guilty of this. I'm not going to say I've never done this. Everybody's guilty of this. You look at somebody, they got a better physique than you, or you look at somebody and they drive a nicer car than you, or they got a business that's thriving and you don't. You want to jump to conclusions and just think, oh, they did something sleazy to get there, or they're taking steroids to look that way, or blah, blah, blah. Y'all know what I mean. What you should do instead is use that person's inspiration. Use them as inspiration. Maybe even ask them, hey, man, how do you look that way? What do you eat? What's your training program look like? Or how do you drive? How do you afford that car? What do you do to drive that car? How's your business booming? And honestly, most people would like to help you. Most people will. You just can't be afraid to ask them. You got to go out there and put yourself out there and be vulnerable a little bit and ask them for some advice, ask them for some help. And a lot of times they will. I mean, yeah, every now and then there are some bad apples out there, but not for the most part. People tend, especially if you're asking them about something that they love, that they like doing, that they're invested in. Most of the time they will try to help you because that thing that they're good at is something that has impacted their life, it's changed their life. So most of the time those people want to help other people get the same thing, you know what I'm saying, get the same reward, let whatever that is inspire them. So prime example is me. Like I've fitness has impacted my life in a very positive way. So I like to help other people out. I want to get them into fitness so they can get the same results I've gotten. Exactly why I'm doing this podcast right now. Literally exactly why. Like I want to be able to get back to other people so that they can find fitness and they can do fitness and get the benefits of it, the results of it that I've gotten, because I know it's impacted me positively and I would like it to have an impact on other people as well. So it's exactly what I'm talking about here. So yeah, y'all be consistent. Y'all start today, be consistent, and in a year from now, 2 years from now, 5, 10 years from now, it'll be easy. Like, you don't even have to think about it. I don't even have to think about getting up. My alarm goes off in the morning. My body wakes up. Now, I don't pop up. But I do wake up. It takes me a minute to get out of the bed sometimes, but I get up, brush my teeth, eat my breakfast or whatever I'm doing that morning, and I go to the gym. It's a habit. I don't even think about it. Like, it's part of my day. It's part of my routine. I pack my bag the night before. I don't have to pack it in the morning. And that's a habit too. When I get home from work, first thing I do when I get home is I unload my gym bag. I take all my dirty clothes out and I reload it. I put my gym clothes in there for the next day, and I go ahead and knock it out. And that's a habit. Like, I don't even have to think about it. Like, as soon as I walk in my closet, boom, taking my clothes out, putting in the dirty clothes hamper, getting new clothes out, putting them back in there, and that's just part of my routine. So, and that's just part of being consistent. I've done that for years now, and that's why I am where I am. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I know we kind of went off on a little tangent for a little bit, kind of ranted a little bit, but hey, sometimes y'all need to hear it. So yeah, y'all have a great day. Y'all tune in next week for another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast. Peace, love, protein. We out.